Do you want to be able to run and record a webinar without all the stress of needing extra hardware and software solutions just to get it to work? Well, here in this step-by-step guide, I'm going to show you how you can go from setting up a webinar in Riverside to having polished recorded content ready for you. So let's dive in and see how it works. So if you've never set up a webinar in Riverside, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on how to do it. So here on your dashboard, if you select the webinar button, it'll pull out a side panel of all the information that you're going to need to fill out. So let's go ahead and put the name of the webinar. We can select the date and time that the webinar is occurring, and we can add a short description on what the webinar is going to be about. And then we can invite guest speakers with their email, or if you're on a business plan, you can add them as producers. And the difference is that with guests, they will appear on the show and they'll be recorded. Producers are usually behind the scenes and they will not be recorded. And then we can go down to the registration form drop down, and this is where you can have people either fill out a form to register for the webinar, or you can give them a direct link and they can fill out their name and email when they join. And then if you select pre-recorded content, this is where you can add any graphics or presentation assets you want to add, or if you want to pre-record your session and then stream it as if it was live, you can record it separately and then upload that here as well to use in your webinar. And then you can go down to the live stream destinations, and this is if you want to stream your webinar to multiple platforms like Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. And then once you've done all those things, you can go ahead and just go to Create Webinar, and now you're ready to run your webinar. So to enter the webinar studio, we can just go ahead and select Start Webinar, and this won't actually make the webinar go live yet. This is just for setup, but this is where we can test to make sure our camera, speakers, or headphones if you're using headphones, and microphone are working. And then we can select whether or not we're using headphones, and this has to do with echo cancellation. So if we don't have headphones, we want to make sure the echo cancellation is on, so we select no. I'll just keep it on yes for now. And then we'll go ahead and hit Join Studio, and now we're inside the studio. So this is when your guests can join in, so you can let them in, like me. And we can also add additional media or branding content we haven't yet uploaded to make sure everything works and flows properly. But the main focus of this video is going to be on the recording. So let's go ahead down to the Record tab here. And if we select this and we see we have our start recording, we also have a run test recording. So let's go ahead and run a test recording real quick. And this will be a great time to test out your camera and microphone to make sure everything looks and sounds good so that everybody can hear your wonderful webinar, just like you're watching this wonderful video. So you can say stuff like, I'm testing my microphone to make sure everybody hears me perfectly. And once you're done with the test recording, Riverside will then upload that recording so that you can watch it back and make sure everything works. Once you've verified that your video and audio is working properly, then you can actually go in and start recording your webinar whenever you go live. So let's just test and see what that looks like right now. You can obviously bring this tab back up again and hit start recording, or you can just hit the record button straight up. And then it will give us a countdown saying that it's prepped for recording. And then once it's actually recording, we have it right now. So I can do all of my presentation, webinar stuff, do all of my overlays, bring on guests, and the guests will be recorded as well. Once again, producers aren't recorded, but we can just keep going on into all the wonderful, great things that the webinar can do. And I could just keep talking, or I can just stop the thing right here. That'd probably be the best thing to do right now instead of listening to me. Okay. So we hit stop recording, and then it's going to upload it automatically. And once our webinar is done, we can actually just go into the project itself. So we can hit go to project, and it keeps our studio open on the bottom right, which is nice if you need to go back in and record something else after the webinar, if that's necessary. If we don't, we can just exit out of it like so. And the great thing about the recording functionality is it maintains very high quality for every piece of recording it captures, so you don't have to worry about grainy looking cameras or screen sharing. And once it's finished processing, it'll be under your recordings tab for you to be able to edit and fine tune how you want. And let's just open this up in the edit page. And now our webinar is fully ready to be edited, and we have our full transcript already, so we can pull out the key parts. We can do a number of different things to improve the webinar quality, so we can post it on multiple different platforms, give people a summary, whatever you want to use that webinar for. So that's how you record a webinar in Riverside. If you want more information on how you can best utilize the recordings that you have, there's a couple videos here, but there's this one that talks about the Made For You tab, which gives you the ability to create lots of short form content out of your long form recordings using automated features that make it much easier to push out content faster. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to see your comments and thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.